Now, how about that for departure? But it gets even better in a few seconds' time as they will roll hard right. Not the sort of departures you normally get out of London Heathrow. And what's unique about Farnborough is, of course, you're much closer to these huge aircraft than you would normally be at a commercial main base like Heathrow. This is MSN4, powered by 4 General Alliance GP7000, each delivering around about 70,000 pounds of thrust. Dust and grass flying everywhere with that weight turbulence you get airborne. The A380 can also be powered by Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines. Range round about 8,500 miles. Now look at that, iflya380.com. Now that website you go on to, you can find anywhere in the world the route structure of the beginning if you want to go on the aircraft. Now, there's 100 A380 routes operated by 13 airlines. More than 190 A380s have been delivered to date to 13 operators since October 07. Now, 6 have gone to Qatar Airways, 14 to
you will find that.
You'll find that. Not crushed. There's just got to be holes. Now, the A380 fleet has flown more than 2.9 million flight hours in more than 350,000 revenue flights. And Michael, how many passengers do you think that equates to?
That's got to be somewhere in the region of...
What did you know? More?
No, I would have said a million.
Million you're getting to. Coming past the high alpha, low speed pass, going back to about 100 knots ground speed. Checking 101 knots ground speed we've got the tracker. It's over a million.
Over a million? 5 million.
Over that.
50 million?
Keep going.
Surely not.
The 380 we're talking
I
about.
suppose. Okay, I'm going to go 100 million people.
Getting close to 130 million passengers already have flown on the worldwide fleet.
That's incredible.
Of the A380. These are remarkable airplanes.
That's not quite as many as the number of ping pong balls.
Hang on a minute, you've got it here. How could you... That is going to be a record even for you, Mark.
It's pretty good. In one flight, obviously, 35 million ping pong balls. They can't have very much leg room.
And he's going to go down far into the runway, turn around and go back to his route. Here is the A400M Atlas. So the 380 touching down. And look at that performance of the A400, equally startling performance. This is the military airlifter from Airbus. When they were doing the testing, the call sign was Grizzly, not its official name, it's the Atlas. The program originated from the European Future Large Aircraft requirement way back in 1992, supported by the nations of Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Portugal, Spain and Turkey. It's a rugged, agile aircraft.
Also, fans of the Mission Impossible film series
So the 380 touching down. And look at that performance of the A400 we use. The simulator actually got shots of the pits pilots looking up at the A340 and not 340, the A400 going across on the big screen. But when you go on to the simulators, all the simulators are exactly the same size. You can look and see what it's like from that. We get shots from the pits of the ground, and also we are going to have some very, very big explosions and pyrotechnics as the A400 Atlas from Airbus military comes in to land 2 landing spots we've got at Farnborough. He's going to land between them. He doesn't need to have the long runway notice Farnborough. Wheels down, weight down the wheels, reverse initiative. So he's not going to do the reversing, and we have the camera on board of it, so whatever we can see what he's looking at now. So probably, at the moment, probably a little smoke is actually what we'll be getting from the camera. How's that for a way to go straight into a display? Hanging there, boot full of right rudder. There we are joining in the cockpit. Critical bit. How we go with the pyrotechnics. That's fantastic. Red, white and blue.
I guess, yeah.
If you took someone who hasn't done aerobatics and did this routine with them, they'd have to lie down in a dark room for a week.
That would be me.
You work your way up to these sort of displays, and I'm not certain if we got the Starduster later on today. Again, we do a biplane that will show different types of aerobatics. But look at the rate of 700 degrees per second you can get out of a bit special.
This aircraft does have a highly appropriate registration, doesn't it? Gee whiz.
Gee whiz.
I mean, you do tend to think that when you see these aerobatics.
Over the top, see Richard looking around, boot for a rudder, round, back down. The A-axis goes left and right, the axis goes to and from us. We may refer to that several times through the display. Hanging there on the prop.
And it's incredibly physical work as well for him in there, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
He's not just sitting and enjoying the ride, he's having to throw himself around,
He's enjoying the ride.
Oh, well, I'm sure.
Yeah, but you've got to be fit,
yes.
You've got to be right up on the line of it. Very much so. It is physical, it is hard work. Because when you're putting high G, everything internally is going south. Incompetent aerobatic pilot.
You know what, that camera on board is so good, you can actually see the gravity and the effect having on his face.
Yeah.
You can see how it's pushing his face around when he's in there.
Monoplane designs. These aircraft are actually all replicas. The Junkers are actually known as Bosch babies. They're actually a Bowers Fly baby, a home-built aircraft from American designs. And it's actually a Steve Hoffman who's flying one of the dark khaki SE5s. Ernie has actually built 2 of the aircraft that are actually taking part in the display today. So a tremendous selection. The aircraft we haven't talked about very much so far, of course, are the Fokker triplanes. Copy of one had gone to the front line. The main British aircraft that were being flown by them were the SE5A with its inline engine and the Sopwith Camel, which had more horsepower and a shorter, lighter fuselage, made it more agile still than the Sopwith triplane.
Spray. The connect with flight engineer has just turned the spray system on, and that system is pumping out that water now at approximately 900 litres a minute. The system can hold up to 15,000 litres of water, average spray of 1,000 litres a minute. We're talking about 15 or 16 minutes straight line spray. Those aircraft are flying at 150 knots, 150 feet above the runway. And as you get towards the end of the runway, there's 7 wheels pull up. Still spraying that blade. Coming up behind it, just clear off to the south, while the 727 continues with its display. So it's the other side of the airplane. You see at the back, there's the spray bars. There's a cylindrical bar there, and there's many spray jets down the side of that bar. Can't figure at the moment to spray water, but we can spray dispersant from that put the spray bottle. The dispersant's job is to chemically mix with the oil on top of the surface of the water. And that allows the oil and the water to mix, and then all the microorganisms in the water, they start effectively eating the oil. And as they start eating it, they start multiplying in their millions. And it's that natural process that clears up the oil. This aircraft's based at Doncaster Airport rather than Doncaster Sheffield Airport. We've two of them. One is down at Glasgow at the moment, but that'll be returning to Doncaster at the end of the year. The spray needs to go out at a certain height, a certain speed. It's all been calculated by the clever people in at OSRL. And the captain's making sure it's nice, straight and level. So it's a very calm environment when we're flying low level at 150 feet. It's very quiet, engines in the back.
Blades, right on cue. My name's Hannah and I'm your commentator during this Blades display today. On behalf of 2XL Aviation and the Blades, we'd like to say a very happy birthday to Mark. So we've got Blades 1, Mark Cutmore, who's leading the routine. Here he goes with hesitation rolls. Andy was one of the co-founding members of the team when the team was set up in 2006. He's celebrating his 10 years with the company, so huge congratulations to Andy. You can see now he's just pushed up and he's going into snap rolls. Now, Andy is a very experienced pilot. He's got almost 6,000 flying hours under his belt. And he's pulled up now into the lobster back, which is a Czechoslovakian name for headache or hangover. All the blades are the ailerons span the length of the wing, meaning that the pilots can rotate their aircraft 420 degrees in less than a second. So the extra 300 is really quite dynamic. Now the ailerons span the length of the wing, meaning that the pilots can rotate their aircraft 420 degrees in less than a second. So the extra 300 is really quite dynamic and can reach speeds of 220 miles an hour. Team are coming across now for the box bend. For those of you who use social media, please do share your videos and photographs with us. We're on Twitter at the Blades Team and Facebook. We do absolutely love seeing all your pictures, so please do share them. The team pulling up now. You'll see the smoke goes on as they go into the loop. And this is the stake. In the Blade 2 position, we have Miles Garland. Miles is also celebrating his ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the looping break. Thank you so much for having us. It's been an absolute pleasure being here. Really do hope that you've just enjoyed your display, and we hope to see you very soon.
Of us, high G, just a few knots above the tip, keeping you firmly in the display line. Pitching up, loading. was pitched back. Now Hornet was zoning back to the show line, zoning full introvert pitch back. Autopilot's signature manoeuvre, the pirouette, which showcases the Hornet's lethal and agile nose capability as he comes round. Labour off the top of the wing, showing the humidity.
Which is the classic Top Gun manoeuvre towards the end of the film. I wasn't going to, but the fact that you've asked me to makes me think you have lots of them.
I'm not even going to go there.
Okay, good.
Our director Ian's just told us the usual one. I was thinking of a completely different one in the hangar. Coming through of a high angle of attack, low speed fast. At about 100 knots, ground speed, just drifting down. At the end, power will be accelerating. So to 3,500 feet. High G pull, you can see the vapor on the top of the ground. They will get the opportunity of doing the square loop. He's going to do a square loop, and now he needs a bit more poke along the line. It's going vertical. Back, then push to hold, go horizontally along. 5 or 10 seconds, depending on the display line, and then vertically down towards the ground, and then an abrupt pull, hard pull. Whoa! Angle of 90 degrees, 4 final circle and square loop, completing all the round into a loaded roll, or is going to be next move. We're not using the cables because it would tear up the runway here at Farnborough. We used to have cables here at Farnborough. We used to have a net at the far end, a rag at both ends of the runway as well. But those when aeroplanes used to use an awful lot of the runway and didn't really have the efficient undercarriage and braking systems they have now. Here's the touchdown. That the pilot really doesn't feel because of the spring loading of Super Hornet. What an amazing, wonderful aircraft. Something like 25% power.
Sensors, weapons technology. The Lightning II is capable of speeds up to Mach 1.6 and can fly as high as 50,000 feet. The highly advanced fly-by-wire control system makes it extremely agile and reduces pilot workload. Squadron Leader Nichols is now repositioning for a demonstration of a minimum radius turn, and so you'll see some of that agility demonstrated here in Show Center in a second. Maneuvering the aircraft to configure it for STOVL flight. Approaching Crowd Center, he will command the aircraft to change to STOVL mode by pressing a single button in the cockpit. You will see several doors opening. The large door on the top of the aircraft just behind the canopy is the upper lift fan door, exposing the powerful lift fan that allows the aircraft to hover. You'll also see doors at the rear of the aircraft which open to allow the main engine exhaust nozzle, which is manufactured by Rolls-Royce in Bristol, to rotate downward.
blip for the aircraft everywhere.
I think we have. Okay, I'll put this one through. Here is the Apache get airborne to hold, jump back in.
As the aircraft returns to ground centre, the crew will perform a rapid climb to manoeuvre the aircraft rapidly through what is known operationally as the threat band, which is where the aircraft are most vulnerable to small arms fire. The Apache's optics are able to look to 60 degrees down for the horizontal, giving the crew a good field of view to confirm the destruction of the target.
Hello, Zero. This is Gunship. That's target destroyed. Out.
Gunship have now ended the engagement using their whole array of weapons and are now accelerating to display the Apache's full range of manoeuvrability. The Apache is once again converting its speed into height, pitching to an awesome 90 degrees nose up. Once they reach zero airspeed, the pilots can then use the Apache's powerful tail rotor to rotate the aircraft to 180 degrees, as you can see, about the centre, and this is known as a pedal turn. Here your cameras at the ready, ladies and gentlemen. This gunship approaches ground centre to carry out a new manoeuvre for the 2016 season, known as the corkscrew. This sees the aircraft pitch 90 degrees nose up, rapidly reposition back into the hover, do a 180 degree spot turn, and then exit 90 degrees nose down. This manoeuvre shows the immense agility of the 10-ton aircraft, and is probably one of the most difficult to fly, I can assure you. As you can see, they're now exiting the corkscrew, and they're going to perform a 360 degree quick stop to arrive in the hover. The Apache has 4 weapon stations on its pylons. The aircraft can be fitted with either CLV-7 rocket pods, Hellfire missile launchers, or external fuel tanks. As you can see today, Gunship have opted for a mixture of rocket and Hellfire missiles. Each rocket pod houses up to 19 rockets, and the missile launchers can carry 4 missiles each. Both the rockets and missiles can be fired out to ranges of up to 8 kilometres, while the powerful M230 cannon can fire out to a staggering 4,200 metres. As you watch Apache move from right to left in front of you, you can see the helicopter's amazing hover performance. 2 engines each produce 2,300 shaft horsepower, which in perspective gives the Apache more power than 4 Formula 1 race cars. The pilots are arrayed with a helmet-mounted monocle. This displays important flight information to the pilot, whilst allowing them to keep their eyes out the window. If you look to the top of the helicopter, you can see its fire control radar dome mounted above the main rotor blades. The radar is able to scan out to 8 kilometres and detect up to 1,024 targets, prioritise them, and provide 16 simultaneous firing solutions through the aircraft's weapons processor. As the aircraft returns to crowd centre, the crew will perform a rapid climb to manoeuvre the aircraft rapidly through what is known operationally as the threat band, which is where the aircraft are most vulnerable to small arms fire. The Apache's optics are able to look to 60 degrees down for the horizontal, giving the crew a good field of view to confirm the destruction of the target.
Hello, Zero. This is Gunship. That's target destroyed. Out.
Gunship have now ended the engagement using their whole array of weapons and are now accelerating to display the Apache's full range of manoeuvrability. The Apache is once again converting its speed into height, pitching to an awesome 90 degrees nose up. Once they reach zero airspeed, the pilots can then use the Apache's powerful tail rotor to rotate the aircraft to 180 degrees, as you can see, about the centre, and this is known as a pedal turn. Here your cameras at the ready, ladies and gentlemen. This gunship approaches ground centre to carry out a new manoeuvre for the 2016 season, known as the corkscrew. This sees the aircraft pitch 90 degrees nose up, rapidly reposition back into the hover, do a 180 degree spot turn, and then exit 90 degrees nose down. This manoeuvre shows the immense agility of the 10-ton aircraft, and is probably one of the most difficult to fly, I can assure you. As you can see, they're now exiting the corkscrew, and they're going to perform a 360-degree quick stop to arrive in the hopper. The Apache has 4 weapon stations on its pylons. The aircraft can be fitted with either CLV-7 rocket pods, Hellfire missile launchers, or external fuel tanks. As you can see today, Gunship have opted for a mixture of rocket and Hellfire missiles. Each rocket pod houses up to 19 rockets, and the missile launchers can carry 4 missiles each. Both the rockets and missiles can be fired out to ranges of up to 8 kilometers, while the powerful M230 cannon can fire out to a staggering 4,200 meters. As you watch Apache move from right to left in front of you, you can see the helicopter's amazing hover performance. 2 engines each produce 2,300 shaft horsepower, which in perspective gives the Apache more power than 4 Formula 1 race cars. The pilots are aided with a helmet-mounted monocle. This displays important flight information to the pilot, whilst allowing them to keep their eyes out the window. If you look to the top of the helicopter, you can see its fire control radar dome mounted above the main rotor blades. The radar is able to scan out to 8 kilometers and detect up to 1,024 targets, prioritize them, and provide 16 simultaneous firing solutions through the aircraft's weapons processor. The radars are not only used to find targets and provide weapon guidance, it can also be used in a setting called terrain profile mode, which maps out the ground to help navigate in very poor weather. As they exit the 360, the crew will now perform a 270-degree quick stop into the crowd in front of you. These photographers amongst you, get your cameras back at the ready. We have one final explosion, known as the Wall of Fire. As Warrant Officer Nash and Captain Blake Lee bring the aircraft to the hover, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the 2016 Attack Helicopter Display Team. The aircraft will now perform a bow to depart, and as it does, we'd like to thank Farnborough International Airshow 2016.
Isn't that a beautiful sight? It was 2 years ago that Shuttleworth Collection flew this Comet for the first time in almost 12 years after a little accident it had.